Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Bravo's workshop. In our last episode, we had put some paint or some undercoat, to be more fair, on the hull. And I was reading through a few comments, and I thought, okay, let's do a little bit of a catch-up where we are. Some of you didn't get to see these quite finished the way that I've seen them finished, and I see them like this, much like you do. And I'm pretty happy with the way that they came out. I just wanted to bring these up and sort of mention them to you. They're not exactly perfect, but they do look very good at a standard distance in which you would normally see them, which to you and I is probably somewhere about there. That is one. Can I pick the other one up? There is the other one. And I think overall, as much as I don't like doing these, I think they came up pretty good. I was looking at them inside of this here, and I thought to myself, while I'm catching up on a few other bits and pieces, I will bring them back out and just show you what they look like. And yes, they are fragile, and yeah, anyway, I'm glad I brought them back up, and I'm glad they come up pretty good in the end. Now, so here we are with the hull. And I'm seeing it in the strong light for the first time, and I'm pretty happy with it now. I did just spot something that I was not happy with, and I may go back offline and just quickly fix that up. As you know, we scratched on this pretty hard with the sanding and everything else, and you can't really see any sand marks in there, and I'm pretty happy with the way that it looks, even though there is a very faint sort of hull shape line in there, and to be honest with you, I kind of like that anyway. Now when I say I spotted something, where was it? I spotted a scratch mark in it. There's actually two. I don't know if I can go. Yeah, there's one there, and there's a little one there, and there's a little one, I think, back here somewhere. Maybe. I thought it was just here somewhere. Anyway, so looking at this, apart from that, I'm pretty happy now. All that's going to require is a little bit more undercoat here. We'll give it a touch up. Clearly it's a harsh scratch, so we'll take that out. This did have a scratch in one of these here. It no longer has one. So pretty happy with that as well. And basically, our hull is almost, and I say almost because it's not finished, because we still need to put the props and other bits and pieces on before we actually paint it. But before we do that, we need to work out where the black line is. Now, as I stated, I was going through some of the comments, and someone, I don't know who it was, asked about the flooring. Am I going to put on a timber floor? I am going to put on a timber floor. And there is my timber floor, the way that it came. And there it is, that side there. So let's get that out. Okay, I have not unwrapped this at all yet. And I'm not about to in this episode either. You know, this is not a very wide ship. It does have a few different levels. Most of the timbers there, different levels here. It's good to know where they go. And just have a bit of a look around. I think overall it looks pretty good. I think I've seen some parts of this here before where I've thought, what goes on here? I think I did mention that in one of the videos. I'll tell you what I do not know, and someone out there might be able to help me. Now, on this one, you can see the yellow in the background. Now, this one has some sort of markings on it, which they don't normally have them on there. And it could be the way they stamped them out or whatever. But is there a reason why they put the yellow paper in with the flooring? Because I really do not know this reason. And I thought maybe there's a logical reason why they do it. Anyway, so that's the flooring that will go on this ship. I'll give you a pretty good look there. We're not going to pull it out today because we're not up to that yet. But it was asked, am I going to put timber flooring on? Absolutely we are. So there is the timber floor there. Okay, so now that's aside. Now, where are we now with this hull? Well, we've put some undercoat on it. We're pretty happy with it. There are a couple of little minor defects. We can easily go back and fix them up, but you're not going to need to really watch those. I mean, I do show you the good, bad, and the ugly, and if I make mistakes, I like to show them too. Yeah, so where is the next ideal step for this ship? Well, I think this is where we start thinking of the black line, or the water line, and exactly which way it's going to sit on the ship itself. So let's get the plan out and have a bit of a look at that. Okay, there's my plan, and I do have other copies of this plan. There's a website I like to go to that downloads all original plans, and I'll give them a plug. The blueprints.com have fantastic prints of nearly every ship available if you're after them. Now, if you didn't get one of these, you can get one of these exactly from it. And I have used this in the past for the Queen Elizabeth and a couple other ships. And just, they give you some pretty good ideas of what's going on. So there's the waterline, but we actually have an original copy. It's not as big, but it probably is a little more detailed. And this, because I've been working off this one, I normally work off these ones here, kind of preserving these, but I will admit I lost these a little while ago, and I did find them. So I brought them out and thought I won't lose them now, but because I've been using this one, it's been squashed, it's been folded, it's been all sorts. So where are we now? And I don't really want to fold this, but I will zoom in on it a little bit. You know, I always say the waterline is probably the most crucial part of working out these ships, and I'm trying to keep it out of the light there. Do realise it's a dark shade of blue, or it is actually blue there, the bluey grey. And we're going to try and work out exactly where this line is. Now, I'll probably stick with the 2mm line, traditionally for the 350 scale ships. That's what I like to use. I do have 1mm here. I just think the 2mm line's easy to put on, and it kind of looks okay. And I'll bring back the Queen Elizabeth just to show you on that one. I try to be really careful every time I move this because it can be so easily damaged. So the black line there, this is a 2mm line, and while there was some failures in building this ship, I think it came up pretty good in the end for what it is. And of course those colours, while we're talking of it, also came off the that site that I was talking about, which basically states these are the correct colours. So the black water line is what we're talking about here. That's a 2mm line on a painted ship, 1/350th scale, and I do think it looks pretty good. Okay, 10 minutes later of hunting around for my ruler, if I can pick it up, thank you. What do we have here? We basically have 15mm from the top of the bow to the bottom of the ship, the bottom of the hull. And what do we got there? Let's have a look this way. And then we've got something like, could be 7mm. I'm just going off the 100 mark. Yeah, roughly 7mm. 5, 6, 7, yep. And then what do we got from the bottom? Kind of have almost 6mm down there, and I know you can't see very well. You'll probably see it's something like that. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to gauge roughly where this line is, and we did this last time on the other ships, just to see roughly where they were, and it is close to half. It's not half, but it is very close to half. So that is a good spot to start off with, which is, now, as I've stated before, on these maps, they don't give you any measurements at all, and they won't. It's all about what you think is correct. So I'm starting off here, and then I'm going to get the ship here, and then work out, right, how big is this ship? So to try and work out our scale. Now, this ship is roughly, I'm going to say that's 42mm, something like that. It's not exact, but I reckon I'd be pretty close in stating 42 millimeters. And obviously half will be somewhere around 21 millimeters. So trying to work out roughly where to start this line off. So just to show you, if I can put that on the camera as well. Can I show you there? It's not going to be the easiest thing to do here, and I think I need to turn that way and try and get, yeah, I reckon that is pretty close to 42 mil. Now, accuracy is pretty important here. Not worried about the top, because the top, if I flick that up, although the camera, my view says that the top of this is past it, but in your view, it's probably a little short, or if spot on. So yeah, 42 mil, so 21, and of course, is it going to be 42 mil that way? Because the edge here is very sharp, and here it flattens out. So what I want to know is, does the ship grow the further we go along? I don't think so. But 21 mil puts us somewhere around here, and then we've got to have a 2 mil line. So we know it goes somewhere here. 21 mil almost puts that probably 1 mil down like that. Let's get the plan out and have another look. Let's zoom in here. Let's try and zoom right in. Let's move that. Let's try and zoom in a little more to see if you can see it. Yeah, there is that lump that I was talking about, and we're probably just 1 mil or so underneath it. There is a line there which can probably give us a pretty good idea where that line goes. I mean, so if that line is on the hull, I'm just trying to follow along through the back, and you're doing it with me. Let me pause. Okay, and it does look like that line, where are we? That line does kind of stop there, but it's like 1 mil back there. Let's keep going. Now, does that hull, now that hull drops off as well, which somewhere along here drops off. So what do we have near the ending? Let's roll around and even further. Let's pause. So while I've got you zoomed in a long way, well, there's that Belfast too, written there. What do we have here? What is a good telltale sign of where to start and stop this? Is there one here? Well, actually, there is. There's that line that continues on further down, because it did stop, but then it starts again just there. When I say it starts again, I'm going to try and keep that light out. Where are we? Just there. Now, I'm not worried about how far down it is. I just really want to know where to start the camo, where to stop it, and that black line is the line that sort of says where to start and stop. So we got 2 points where we can take this from, and I haven't measured it. If you want me to measure it, I can do that. Give me 1 second. I'll see if I can slip a ruler in. Oh, geez. They're 1 millimeter lines. Do I have 0.5 millimeter lines on here? I don't on this one. So it would be less than 0.5 millimeter. Let's roll that back. So really, if you are anywhere near that line or just under it, you'd be pretty accurate. Now, that's only if that line is on the ship. Let's go to the ship and see if it's on there. Okay, so there's the ship, and I do think that line there, I'll get the pointer back out, that line there is the one that's on the illustrations. Now, of course, we don't know whether they're correct, not correct, but there is a very faint line, because that is a rigid edge there, and that's that structure there. Now, according to this, we should either be on this or 1 mil below it, or depending on where it falls, we could probably be 1 mil below that. I don't know where that falls as far as our 21 mil goes, because we do know 21 mils is roughly half. It's probably, I did use this ruler when I was doing the engine rebuild, and it probably does need a very good clean. So going back to the 100, because someone's going to say, you know, what is the actual measurement? Well, there is 21. I don't know if you can see it properly. I can try and move it around so you got better view. Let's go back on the 100. Boy, 21 would be cutting it pretty fine because you'd be right on the very edge. What's it like up here? Let's go further down. 100 mil. Let's try and put you in the right light there. So you're about there in the right light. 21 mil kind of does work there. And of course, it doesn't work here because it gets shorter here past my knuckle there. Yeah, I think 21 would be pretty close. I will bring back the plan just to double check this right where this knuckle is to see exactly where it sits. What are we in there? We are 2 mil in at 21 over this. So that's not bad. There's our plan. Where is that piece there? Is that it there? I think it is that it there. Right there. Let's go. Yeah, that's part of the ship. Whoops, sorry, I knocked the camera and yeah, under this kind of zoom it sort of shakes a lot. Yeah, I mean there is definitely a line there, and again let's even concentrate on this little piece here. If I can bring my pointer back in, where are you? That piece just there, which is just past the end, to see where it falls just here. Okay, I'm going to get set up with another light here, because while you're okay there, there's not enough light for you to see. So if I put that light that way and go like that, you should really see everything. Okay, so again, if we can try and stay level with the top, and I reckon 20, oh, I'll tell you what, there is a fine line, and I think that right here, right there, I think that is that fine line it's talking about. I don't really know. Is that a scratch or a fine line? I'm also going to use the lens to see if I can see it properly. Hang on. No, I do believe that is just very fine molding the way it's molded, and under this zoom you can even see, you know, my scratching from sanding and stuff like that. Of course, this is only undercoat. That is actually not a line, it's just where it's kind of stamped out. So what I'm thinking is, while it may not be dead accurate, I think we should be somewhere just under here, and whatever this is, we should follow it to the front. Now, bringing the ruler back, will you see it? I'm trying to look at the camera and do this. Let's try and stay level. That would make that line 20 mil down, not 21, it'll be 20 mil down, and we would clear that nicely, and the line would probably be somewhere about there. Let's double check that again. Level with the top, 20 mil, oh, 21, yeah, I reckon 21 is going to be too far down, although if you wanted more camouflage you could probably see more. But what would that do? Let's have a look at something else. Now, just while I'm there and I'm readjusting, now if we're going to say that the line is somewhere here, I mean, painting wise it'd be alright if it's just underneath this, because then we can concentrate on keeping the line flat, and it's probably worthwhile. And we did say 20 mil would do it, 20 mil, 21 mil, I mean we're in the ballpark anyway. Some of you might say, no, that's not right. You got to do it exactly. I'm trying to do it the best I can. And this is exactly what I did with the other ship. I pretty much broke down my own scale. So if we were to go, do I have some tape here? Hang on. Okay, 10 minutes later, I found my trusty green tape. Let's have a look. Let's cut a piece of this off, just like that. And let's cut a strip off it, just roughly. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is not to scale. This is just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. So if I put that as the top line, somewhere through there. Now I do know this is an extra thick line, and this line is probably, let's work it out. I think this line is 4 mil thick, so it's pretty thick. What I'm aiming for with this green stuff is, I probably should have put the other side on, because I think this is the side I cut. Let's turn that around. Something like that. Through there, yeah, that's better. So right through there, so just so you know what I was talking about, if we were to say this is our top of our 2 mil line, and again, I didn't put it on all that straight at that end either. Let's do that again. No, I'm still not happy with that. Hang on. Now again, this is a line that I've cut myself, and it probably is, again, let's not guess it. Let's go, it's probably 3 mil. 1, 2, 3, yep, 3 mil. And what am I after here? Well, because we're trying to work out this line, we are, 20 mil down from the top. I think that'll work pretty good, which puts us, for the rest of the ship, that puts us at about, let's not even go about, let's go exactly 100 mil on there. That is 13 mil. That is 13 mil from the top here to the top of that line. Yep, that is 13 mil exactly. So that gives us 13 mil of camouflage through here. And what will that mean for our camouflage? Well, now we've got some sort of idea. And now we know where the camouflage will go from here up. Let's just examine that for 1 minute. Again, we would have 13 mil of camouflage running from here through. That seems pretty plausible through there. And we'd have a decent amount, well, 20 mils through here. We'll have our black line, and then we'll have pretty much almost 20 mil of the red. And I think that'll look good. Now, before we go any further, because we know it's 20 mil down from here and 13 down from here, we need to check the nose, the front, or the bow, and the rear, the stern, for how that's going to sit, for where that line's going to sit. So let's have a quick look at that. Okay, I think I'm going to just sort of blow up, zoom in a bit more. Okay, so that's pretty big on the screen now. Can I do this way? Where are we? And we did say if I go back to the 100, and I'm only going back to the 100 because of that there. If I take that off, we should be okay. So we had approximately 42, yeah, and then 20 mil for the top of the line. That sits pretty good through here. I don't think it's too intrusive. What does it do here though? Let's move down. And of course the ship is starting to move. Now, this is where it doesn't work though. This is why you have to check all points. I don't like 21 up here. It might be too much. But we are very close. 21. You know, you could go 21 here and 20 here, and across that distance, you're probably not going to notice it. That's what I think. I just think 21 works a little better. Whoops, let's put you in the screen. 21 works right there. Just kind of keeps you just in, and it's pretty much right on that edge, which is exactly what the picture is, but you can't really see it that well. I don't know if we can see this part. I'll try and do it again. This part right here. Yeah, I've got some paint on my fingers from painting this. So there's the map. Let's see if we can zoom in a little more. And a little more. And a little more. Like we're up there. Come on, focus. Thank you. Yeah, it's practically right on that edge. And the other thing we can do is we can actually measure this edge here to see exactly how accurate we are. But it is definitely going through this part here. That's for sure. So it's struggling a little bit there. Let's no, it can't focus there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I might even just quickly measure that and have a bit of a look, because half would put that. Can we put that there? Which would be the thickness of the tape through there again, something like that. So there's that part of the ship. 21 mil. Yeah, 21 mil is only really just getting on there, but it is. It would be on there, and then you add your 2 mil. Geez, that's tough. Because according to this, I would probably even go 22 mil. And what does that do for the rest of the ship? Well, we need to see the back just before we go any further. So we do know we're between 20, 21, and 22. So it's 2 mils in on it. Where are we there? There's the ship. Let's see if I can get that right on the ruler. Right that way. Yeah, 20, 21, 22. I think some of you would say 22. And of course 22, then you got your 2 mil of line, which would make the 24. That does sit pretty good. I do like that. Hang on, let's get down the back. No. Okay, so I've just measured this, and it is. I've moved this line. I spent about 5 minutes moving that line. And I've got, let's see if I can take that line out of that thing for you. And I've got definitely 21 mil from the top edge. You could stretch it to 22 mil, and anywhere in that ballpark, you'd be okay. And I've tried to get this as straight as possible through here. Now, when I say through here, I'm measuring here first for the long line, and then roughly somewhere here for the next line. I don't know if you can see those. And I'm not worried about whatever past that or before it. So that is 21, and I'm happy with where it sits there. And because it's 21, that kind of puts the line at, well, kind of puts a line at 13 there on the smaller end. But you could also be 14. That actually is 14. So 14 there. So I'm thinking, yeah, let's do 21 here, 14 there. Let's double check that. That is definitely 14 on that same line through here, as wide as the ruler. Let's do 14 down the back. I know this episode's getting a little long, but this is important. Okay, so I've just spent probably the last 5 minutes just mucking around with the rear end down here. Now that's 14 mil. I don't know if I can get it on there again so you can see it. Sorry for that light playing up still. That is roughly 14 mil, And I'm pretty happy with where that sits, because even on the illustration, this does almost come right around here, just like this, at that point. So 14 mil, if I travel that through, I mean, this is my own cut line, obviously. So, and if I travel that one through to match up with the rest of it, let's zoom out a little bit. Hang on. So I'll try and get it there. If we zoomed out and followed that line all the way through here at 14 mil, which would be something like that. It is correct at the end, which is what I was really concentrating on. And then followed that out. Use my old carpenter's tip there. Following along that edge. You would get something like, yeah, you would follow it back into this one here. And I think it would be quite okay to then continue that on for that black line. So I'm going to say 14 at the back, 14 here, and should we double check the front? Have we got time? Okay, I'll quickly mark the front and I'll show you. So there's my line there, and I do know it is 21 mil at the front, and this is a handmade line, which is probably 3 and a bit mil long, so it's a little wide. But coming along that edge there, I think it would go very well. It is sitting at 22 mil back here. I really do need to see what it would sit like here. I think we need to bring that forward. Hang on. Okay, there it is forward. And again, this side is probably not that straight. Is this one straight? It's not perfectly straight, but it's pretty straight. That is 22 mil there, and it sits pretty good. Probably sits a little under what I want. And if you were to continue that line on, I don't know if you can do that on here. Yeah, you most definitely want 21, 21 and a half, or 22. That's exactly where it is. You can get away with 22. 22 at the front there. Yeah, you can get away with that. The problem is the shape of this kind of throws you off a little bit too. So what would that be if we dropped a line on it? You know how we did last time? We just we marked the end and we marked the other end and we dropped the line down straight on it. But either way, what this does tell us right now is where our black line needs to go. Now, I'm going to do the same as the last time. I'm going to put the black line on first. I'm going to drop a 2 mil line on it to keep the line. But I'm letting this one go off a whole lot more than the last time, because that also could have contributed. So I think that's where we're at for the waterline for this episode. Now, it might have been a little bit confusing. I don't know. It might have been a little bit boring. We didn't actually really technically build anything, but we did work out where we're going to go from here. So I think we're going to call this episode here. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope it made sense. And if you disagree, or you've got your own thoughts on this, please let me know, because I enjoy the interaction. So yeah, just what we'll do now is we'll prepare this on the next episode to put a black line on, and we know where it's going to go from there. So basically 21 or 22, make up your own mind, and I definitely say 14 down the back. That's where we're at with that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.